Welcome back to Bassett. Today, everyone, I wanted to talk about the 3 Rick Grimes movies that we're going to be getting for the Walking Dead universe in the next couple years or so. And I've been scratching my head ever since Season 9, Episode 5. Where is Rick Grimes going? We know it's going to be some sort of community. I mean, that was kind of a given. But what makes this community so special? I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be a big community. Some have theorized that it's going to be the Commonwealth, the community of over 50,000 from the comic books. But really, that doesn't make any sense when you look towards the future of the show. It's pretty obvious, and it's been said multiple times, that The Walking Dead, the main show, is going to be continuing for years to come. So it wouldn't make any sense to give these Rick Grimes movies stories that the TV show should really have. It could end up being the Commonwealth, but I really doubt it. But today, I actually have some of my own ideas when it comes to this community and what it could actually be. But if it's not the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth is to get adapted in the main show, that poses another problem. You can't just introduce 2 huge communities roughly at the same time. It's pretty much the same thing, and you don't want to get too repetitive. So what's going to make the helicopter group different? Well, I honestly think it could be the remains of the US government. One of the reasons that I think this could be a possibility is because it's barely been explained or explored in the Walking Dead universe. Now, we did get a little bit in Fear the Walking Dead, but that was just a couple of episodes in Season 1. It was just a small portion of the government, and barely any information was released about what they were doing, what happened to them, and if they really held out or not after the entire outbreak. And you know what? I see why not many people have thought about this possibility, or might have discredited it before, and that's because this whole downfall of the US government and its remains have never really been brought up much in the Walking Dead universe. And obviously, there isn't too much government left, or else, Rick and the others would be under that government. But still, it's something interesting that really could be happening in the Walking Dead universe. We just never really thought about it because we never saw it. And we've known for a while that The Walking Dead isn't really about that. They don't really tell that type of story. They wanted to focus more on the horror aspect. So this whole government thing and the cure for the Walking Dead disease, or whatever you want to call it, the things that a lot of zombie stories really go to when they're telling a story, The Walking Dead never did that because that wasn't The Walking Dead. They wanted to do something different. But it's 9 years later after the show started. They're running out of material, and they need to do something different than the TV show. I think this would be a cool route to go down towards when it comes to storytelling. We also have to mention the helicopter. Helicopters aren't just everywhere. Not everybody has access to them. Of course, a big community over a long period of time could get access to helicopters and run them pretty fine. Maybe the Commonwealth could do that or something. But really, when you think about it, this helicopter has been seen so many times throughout the entire series, with no explanation. 2 months after the outbreak, there's a helicopter that Rick sees. Then, at the end of Season 2, at Herschel's farm, there's another helicopter. And all throughout the series, we continue to see it. And it's been there since the beginning. You wouldn't think a big community would have these helicopters since the very beginning unless they were the US government, something that was already established. I mean, we are led to assume that this helicopter that has been appearing since Season 1, which would have been 2 months after the outbreak, is the same community. We would think, and if that were the case, like I said, it would have had to be from something already pre-existing like the US government. And it could also take a lot of the theories from the A and B thing into play. That's like A's are for experimentation and B are for laborers. This is something that goes very deep and nobody really knows what it means. Many people have already made videos on it, so I'm not going to cover it too much, but it makes sense for those who think that A's are for experimentation. Who would be experimenting on the dead? The US government. They'd want to put things back to the way they were. They'd be the ones looking for a cure. Now, that's sort of a cliche for a zombie apocalypse story. Somebody's looking for a cure. You might not really have to, really focus on that in the movies, but it could answer the whole A and B thing and actually be a good explanation that, well, the A's are used to test the virus to see how it works, if they're trying to find a cure or something like that. This could also have a good end goal for The Walking Dead, is actually putting the world or the nation back to what it was, or similar to what it was with the whole US government thing. Now, I know it might be a little bit, underwhelming, or not what people expected, but maybe putting the old world back together would take the old government or something like that. It would obviously be very different in the zombie apocalypse. This could just be what was the remains of the army or something like that. This huge base with lots of weapons, stuff like that. Really, when it comes down to it, I'm trying to think outside of the box. Although this might be like a zombie apocalypse story cliche, it is sort of out of the box for The Walking Dead, and it would create an end goal for the entire series. Like I said, putting the world or the nation back to what it was, or similar to what it was. I really just don't see this being another big community, because it should just be another Commonwealth, and that'd be boring. Something like this would be shocking, exciting, and while a zombie apocalypse cliche, kind of cool, and it would answer a lot of questions about the US government that we've been wanting to know for quite some time, that we thought Fear the Walking Dead was going to answer, but they never did. Now, this last part of the video is going to get a little fan-fiction-y or way too ahead of myself, but I do want to talk about it. This could be pretty interesting if this is the United States government, or what's left of it, maybe the army or something like that. Eventually, we could have like a war, or, a battle between the Commonwealth and a bunch of different communities against what's left of the US government, because we know it would be big. This community is going to be big, and it sort of be like a war between the old world and the new world. People saying, you lost the right to, rule over us, sort of, when you lost to the zombies or the walkers or something like that. It'd just be kind of cool to have the old world versus the new world in some way, something like that. It was very messy when I was talking about it, but something like that would be kind of cool, which would make sense if this were the remains of the US government or the army or something like that. Actually, if you guys are into that sort of thing, like really heavy theorizing on where the story is going, I'm going to have a separate video on that where I pretty much link The Walking Dead to The Walking Dead movies and Fear the Walking Dead pretty much all in one video and try and piece together where they're all going to be in the future. But hey, that's for another video. I just wanted to get my thoughts on where Rick is going, what this helicopter community could be. But of course, this is all very subjective, and I want to know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that this is the US government? Do you think it's just another big community? Do you like the idea that it could be the remains of the US government or not? Let me know in the comments below. And that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.